For the newly indoctrinated, Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files follows the story of a professional wizard in Chicago. We've started our podcast as a way to help break down the series' most important moments, characters, and lore. This is McAnally's Dresden Files podcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode number 8, Double Date. My name is Tansenn, and I am joined by Maggie.
Hello.
And Jess.
Hey.
Concussion be damned, Harry is awoken by a thunderstorm. He soon realizes he's forgotten about his date with Susan, who has come knocking at his door. Having already double booked with Linda Randall, Harry struggles to accomplish both and not come off as a jerk. They are interrupted by a demon toad trying to kill everything in its path.
There came a knocking, a rapping at my chamber door.
Thunderstorm wakes Dresden! Despite him being from the land of the dead at this point. Concussion.
When did Murphy take him home? It was early morning, right? Because he went there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He went there for like 8 a.m.-ish or something like that.
So he's been passed out for like in and around 12 hours now.
Yeah, probably close to that.
And Murphy has left him a little bit of cash.
You will pay me back.
Yeah, but that's still sweet that she left him the
It's
cash.
still sweet that she just left him. Yeah.
You live like this? Here's some money, you sad sack.
Can't even afford a candle now. Yeah, stuff starts happening. It starts getting exciting now. This is, I think, the biggest action chapter we've had. Because, like, Bianca was a little bit of action, but it was, like,
A taste of it.
short and quick, and, like, boom, and then she got smacked around with a baseball bat, but that was also kind of... But now it's, like, ramping up.
Right. So, a lot of action.
A lot of action. You get so much fun.
Yeah.
We get more Bob.
We get more nudity.
We get nudity. More nudity. Have we had any yet?
Oh, that's...
Well, I guess actually Tommy, Tom, and Stanton were...
Sure.
They're
Chapter 1.
horribly disfigured corpses, kind of. Put a damper on that.
Don't kink shame.
Can I murder shame? Is that one still allowed? I'm
Not sure anymore.
That's fair. Okay, so crash, boom. Harry wakes up suddenly.
Yeah, wakes up to true dark had fallen.
Dun, dun, dun.
A little bit of our word painting has begun. I've got a bit of a foreshadowing as well. The big gray cat was nowhere to be seen. He was a chicken about thunderstorms. Or he knows. He knows.
Or a little bit of both. Yeah, he figures he's just booked it because his legs are still warm. So he knows he, like, just left kind of a thing. But then he's like, oh, yeah, Storm Cat's, like, hiding out. But he's not just, like, hiding under the couch. He's, like, perched on the bookshelf. Which we go to the bookshop to fill our bookshelves. Yeah, and he's, like, really kind of intense, creepy, like, eyeing the door, like, yeah. But yeah, Dresden's still sort of concussed and just waking up and hungry and like, yeah, whatever. And then I think is the knock on the door the first thing? Because he doesn't manage to go get food or anything.
Yeah, he's on his way. He's like, we're gonna make hamburgers. Ba-da-ba-ba.
Oh yeah, this is one of my pet peeves of the Reading Story Masters, where we go back to his like not having really prep time and doing like a cold read. Because he's like, come on, I'll make some burgers. But Marsters doesn't read it like that. He's like, come on, I'll make some burgers. Actually, sorry, it's like, And I remember the first time listening to that being like, that was awkward. I mean, I wonder if it was supposed to. And then I get my book, and it's like, come on, let's make hamburgers. And you're like, see, really in your head, you know that. It's that that we all do. And you're like, yeah, you just were like reading and not thinking about it. It was like, It's like it's one of those things. It's like I enjoy the fuck up, but it also like drives me crazy. I'm like, come on, Marsters, whoever goes, I'm like, you know it's gonna be. But anyways, yeah. So yes. And as you say, a knocking.
See, I feel if I was ever like reading audiobooks, I'd just be like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm just gonna skip it. I don't get it. We're not putting it in.
Which is why they don't hire you to read audiobooks.
Anytime an author writes something awkward, I'm like, no. Second editor's cut.
And then, like, days, months, years, books later, she's like, I never understood why that didn't make. It took me like 10 books to realize. I just skipped that part the first time because
it wouldn't be important. No one would notice. I
didn't have enough context clues to know that was going to be a thing.
The parts I'm skipping are parts that don't matter.
You think? Did you guys have to do a lot of, like, reading out loud in school?
Yes.
Or did you yeah?
All teachers. Everyone was reading a sentence, and then you count how many kids are in front of you, and you practice your sentence.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like, it seems like, again, that's one of those things that... And maybe that's just like a human nature thing. Maybe that's, I mean, it's like public speaking, you know? It's like they all make us do projects in class, but we all hate it. None of us actually ever get better at it except for like the 0.00001% that do. But yeah, I just find sometimes, like, it's funny how, like, when I just listen to, like, friends or things like that, you know, reading, and it's like, don't you... But I don't know, this all comes back, actually, side note to that, how you think in your brain, whether you think abstractly or whether you think in, like, sentences or conversations and things like that. Because I guess that's why, I guess, like, when I'm reading, I have, like, the story being told, where some people, I guess, just read kind of flatline. So it would explain, like, that they read out loud more like that, too, rather than putting in all the emphasis and yes, emotions and inflections and things like that when they're... Anyways, okay. All right. Yeah. That was that side note. So Marsters fucks up reading. And yes, pitter-patter at my chamber door.
Well, I do have some really great descriptions of the storm. And that's when he realizes that it might be the storm that causes that. Let's see. It was raw energy up there, naked and pulsing through the clouds. See? Nudity. The fire of deadly lightning. All four elements interacting, moving, and energy flashing from place to place in each of its forms. There was a lot of potential in storms that a sorcerer could tap into if he was desperate or stupid enough.
And Harry was both. Yeah, it's actually there's a lot of fairly descriptive things going on, and even like before he gets out into the storm, like I can anyways picture it really good, like when he's still in the apartment, right, and it like flashing through the windows and lighting stuff up, like, because again, right, Harry's always about don't do the electricity and stuff because it's too unpredictable with me. So, you know, he's got, you know, like maybe a little, I don't even remember if he stoked up the fire and this, you know, but he's maybe got some embers or a little bit. He's got a couple candles around. So, I mean, it's fairly dim, dark kind of a thing, right? He's just woken up. Totally forgot. Love this, that he's, flashes on like, oh, yeah, crap. Linda said she was coming over, like, right before I passed out. And he, like, opens the door to, like, Susan, and he's like, double crap! Right! I actually have a date! Oh, and again, and you know, right, with his like, oh, in the last chapter, he's like, I thought there was something else. Couldn't have been that important. And you're like, yeah, You wish, Harry. This is like super duper important for you because it like never fucking happens. Which also, in fairness, is probably why it's not the first thing to jump to his head. But yeah, but even just like the image of like the demon showing up at the door and like backlit and all that kind of stuff, right? I was like, it really kind of gets you right in the, you know, you can hear the thunder.
Yeah, nice sense of anticipation too, especially with using the cat as.
Yeah, the cats that we know can see all the little mystical
catalyst.
As a catalyst.
So Harry goes to take a shower, right? And as you said, then we get that imagery of the demon showing up at the door, and it's like, hey,
I love
triple crap.
Actually, the best imagery is that, yeah, like him being in this shower. Well, first Susan's like expecting someone. He's like, oh, no, maybe, I don't know. Oh, hi, nice to see you. I'm just gonna go shower. Right? And she's like, She's got like that smirky woman thing going on. And then I love he's in the shower and hears a knock at the door, whatever, and just freaks the fuck out. He's like totally not thinking. He's like, shampoo in the hair, buck naked. I'm just gonna see if I can potentially save this situation by like panicking.
There's a better solution to Linda and Susan meeting at the door, and it's me butt naked.
Right, no, wait, oh my gosh, what a surprise, I didn't know you were coming. As I'm like flailing around in a towel.
And it's double fun to think that he's put off Linda in his mind. He's like, okay, fine, I suck. I should have shaved and showered and dressed. But he's like, whatever. But then it's Susan. It's like, yeah, I'm like still bloodied in the back of my head and I'm covered in puke.
Yeah, right.
Hey, girl.
Right? He's kind of hoping, he's like, well, Linda's just here for info, and, you know, she's already basically said that she's, like, you know, a sex addict. Maybe she won't care that much that I'm, like, gross, and then, yeah. And then, no, it's lovely put together Susan for her date. And he's like, ah. But, yeah, I love that, him just, like, scrambling out like that, suddenly gonna, like, fix things. Like, you're, like very nonchalant, very smooth, like just casual. Yeah, and Susan knows, right? Like she's heading for the door, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And like she knows, like Harry's fucked up something, right? And then yeah, surprise.
Try not to fool the investigative reporter.
Yeah, right.
I wonder if that'll work.
Harry's already, like, told us, like, half a dozen times that he's like, I suck at lying, I'm no good, I can't tell Murphy shit, because she knows in a like, even over the phone, she knows I'm lying, like, yeah.
Suave and sophisticated.
Suave that is, yeah. Yeah,
Harry Dresden.
Even Susan is just like, okay, boy, what's behind the door?
Behind door number 1.
It's a wordy
shit,
toad.
That's not a good prize. That's even more, yeah.
Right.
And she's like, huh? And Harry's like, dog. So yeah, at least we give Harry that. At least in his panicky woman, how do I explain this? You know, at least he snaps into, like, I guess that's where, you know, his training and stuff like that comes in. That between the investigator and the wizard is that he's kind of doing an oh shit, but he's still actually being productive and like, yeah, okay, so you're gonna want to move out of the way of the door. So luckily for Susan, because she's, and I don't know, do we know, has Susan had much, I don't know if she's had a lot of practical supernatural experience up until now. Like, obviously she believes, she works for the arcane, and he's said more than once, she goes after, you know, the real cases, not just the shape-shifting Elvis ghost abducts Girl Scout. Or no, Elvis's ghost abducts shape-shifting Girl Scout. But
yeah, because that theory really needed the
no, so that's the actual quote
specification.
Because that's the actual quote in the book when he first says that the arcane stories usually run. Sorry, that was. I was being specific.
Earth is flat. No, Earth is trapezoid.
Yeah, so, I mean, definitely, this is definitely beyond anything that she's seen. She's definitely like, but yeah, I don't know sort of how, you know, like how much after the fact is she when she's just like reporting on stuff that has happened. Like, you know, he's like, oh, how was Branson, Missouri, you know, and she's like, oh yeah, they brought in like a psychic and did like a, you know what I mean? But it's like, how much, I mean, that was sort of a fake incident anyways. But yeah, I don't know how much nitty-gritty, how much real magical supernatural Susan has ever particularly encountered.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a whole lot.
So
like just that she investigates them but hasn't actually seen it.
Yeah, right? So she believes, but is that faith or is that proof, right? And this is definitely like beyond, you know, sure she's done a seance or this or that, or but yeah, this is, you know, definitely whatever she's seen, this is going to be a whole magnitude beyond that.
Because I think they mentioned that he writes that her brain has shut off, and that usually happens when people are seeing a demon for the first time.
Yes, yeah, exactly right. That, like, yeah, even if she's seen bits and pieces, this is a whole new reality that she's not expecting or ready for.
Which you think is a fair reaction to a demon toad, in general.
Yeah, chances are, I'd like to think that I'd be like the cool, sophisticated, like, oh my god, but I'd probably be the idiot standing there going, who's the idiot in the costume? Like, why is there a toad thing? I'm like, I would be like logically trying to process and be like this while it like spewed acid in my face and like kill. Like, I would be cannon fodder. I'm like a red shirt probably.
Cool, bro. Can I get a pic?
Right. It's like, I'd like to think when the zombie apocalypse hits, I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I know, I'm ready. I reckon I'm just gonna be like, what the fuck is with these like millennials? Oh my god, get a lot,
No, I get it, though. Like, all these people in movies, there was a, like, tweet or comment or something like that, and it was like, why do these people try so hard in a zombie apocalypse? I would just die. Like, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you trying so hard to be the last one alive?
I don't know. I mean, there's that gut survival instinct.
No.
That I'm sure some people, the
I'm a red shirt, too.
bear girls of the
I'm
world
tired.
that, like, do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to kid myself that I'm not, but I think I am as well.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
like, I'd be super cool. I'd be, like, all over this, like, stand up, hand me a rifle. I'd just be like, no? Yeah, I'd be like...
Hand me the rifle, but you can instantly take it back after.
I'm the one going, guys, really, it's like, just take a second. We need to fight. This is not...
No, that's more Walking Dead, though. If I have, like, a wizard next to me, then it's like, okay, then maybe we have a chance. But if we're, like, in Walking Dead situation and, like, the world has been taken over, then I'm not giving it a chance. But if there's still, like, a majority of humans, then it's like, okay, maybe I'll try for, like, a minute. Shit might go back to normal. But once, like, there's more monsters than humans... No.
We say in the middle of a pandemic, it might go back to normal. I don't know what I'd do in the zombie apocalypse.
It will never go back to normal.
This is
COVID-19 is like the pre-pandemic.
The pre-apocalypse.
And it begins.
And so it
Enjoy,
does.
folks. This will be a limited run.
Yeah, right.
What finishes faster, the podcast or just humanity?
Humanity. I mean, wait. I see pros and cons to both. Yeah. So nasty, blue, scary demon toad thing, and we learn a little bit again about the rules of the world. Like, why isn't he just coming in? Well, 'cause he can't. I've got a threshold, but mine sucks ass 'cause I'm a lonely bachelor in a rental pad. So yeah.
Homestead laws.
Homestead
Some new
laws.
lore.
Yes, yeah. And this again is something we're really familiar with, the vampires and things like that not coming in unless you're invited. And I like how it expands to other creatures from the Never Never, and things like that, that it's not... like some things can just come in and out, no problem. Other things have trouble. Other things can't at all. And it worked, right? It gives us an excuse for not every mortal human to be constantly attacked in their own beds every night, but also a reason that, well, we're still going to kick your ass, Ari. You can't just go home and be like, neener, I'm safe. It's like, no, we will still find a way to come at you. So yeah, we're just gonna play with these rules a bit. So yeah, and I mean, he does it again, I think, in a logical, sensical kind of way, right? That, yeah, a place that's like full of home and family and generations and laughter and love and pets and life and all of that kind of stacking up day-to-day messiness, builds up. And then again, somebody like him who is alone most of the time, because we've sort of established that even though Harry has some friends, he's not a super social, whether by choice or circumstance or whatever, there's not a lot of people coming over to drop in and say hi. He doesn't have people over to visit and hang out. You know, he's not running a podcast out of his basement. Did I just steal your line?
No, I was going to say, I was like, even established earlier in this chapter, you know, Murphy is the first time she's ever been to his apartment, and also the only one thus far we've been introduced to as a friend of Harry's, you know? So at this point, you know, the only person we know is Murphy and Susan, and this is both of the first times I've ever been to his apartment, so it's like,
yeah,
very, very much.
Exactly, right? You know, I mean, sort of the good-natured, empathetic people that we are, I'd like to assume that Harry does have some other friends and knows some people. But you're right, we have not been introduced to anybody, and so we know that that's, you know, it's him and his cat kind of a thing, and he lives in this old boarding house, right? So we know he's not, you know, it's not the epicenter of a social hub kind of going on here, right? So that plays a factor. Like, he's still immortal, he still has a home, so he still has a threshold, but it's not very effective. It's not, you know, hardcore. So he rents his home. So again, that makes it sort of a transient sort of, right? Like, even though you may be there long term, it's not establishing those same roots per se as, you know, the intention of when people buy a home to be, you know, especially a family home that you intend to be, you know, not your starter condo that you're going to flip in a year, right? And all of these things coming together, right? So, yeah, I find that, again, this is where I like where Butcher adds his own rules to things and his own take on things, right? But it doesn't, like, spoil it for me. Like, it does do a good job of enhancing things and not, you know, it gives him an excuse within his books to do what he wants to do, but without it feeling completely like a plot device and just a trope and a, you know.
Yeah, it's not so black and white. It really gives that gray area to adapt as needed depending on the situation, but still have rules that aren't broken just when you need to break them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, well, Harry forgot to brush his teeth on a Tuesday the 27th on the 15th cycle of the... So now this demon can come in. You know, it's like, yeah, no, it's but yeah, exactly. It lets you bend and play and manipulate things, but still stay with
Or like having a time turner in the second book and never again. Or
right.
Third book.
And you call yourself
I don't.
Okay. Everybody else does, that's why. You haven't seen her Harry Potter shelf, but apparently she's not a fan. It's just a label everyone else gave her.
I'm on my third reread of the Percy Jackson files, and it's entirely new to Percy Jackson files.
I was like, what?
See? I don't know. The Percy Jackson series, and every page is brand new to me, despite this being the third time I've read the series. I don't recall anything at all.
But it depends how far between. If it's like a couple years between each you read, you're not gonna. If it's like third time in succession, I don't know what you're even doing here at all.
I read them for the first time when I was in elementary school, and then I read them to my younger siblings a decade later when they were in elementary school. It hasn't been that much longer since then.
So I'm still thinking like a decade between your first couple of reads and let's say 5 years between. I can see why. I mean, maybe not like completely.
My point is I don't retain information.
Gotcha.
Once I'm done with it, I'm gone.
I'm getting that. Yeah, this is not really news. I don't know why. It shouldn't be news to me. And yet these things still surprise me about you. Just because you do such a good job of faking knowing things.
I'm a liar.
Yeah.
And everyone just buys it.
It's just convincing.
Yeah, it works for me.
The one and only shout out I will give to my ex-husband. you created a convincing bullshitter because you didn't get it from my side. I'm like, Harry, oh, no, I didn't do it. What?
Thanks, Dad. Good at line. Put it on the resume.
Right.
So?
I was going to say put creativity down. Creative improvisational.
That's how you lie about lying. I think on my feet.
So the demon toad can't get into the house. He can...
Right away.
luckily, the door's been open for him, Susan. So he can still shoot things inside.
Which, again, is one of those, like, again, he's always in, like, oh, shit, run, grabs her. But it's like, I don't know, swing the door shut while you're pulling her away from it. That would add that little extra berry, At least the demon can't see exactly where you are.
It's still, at this point, just a wooden door. So it's not, the best defense, but it's certainly, like you said, at least he won't be able to see through it, at least until those first few acid.
Until he breaks down that threshold and then knocks the door in. Meanwhile, I don't know, he doesn't know if you've crawled out a window or down a ladder or up the chimney But yeah, exactly, it's just one of those. But then again, there wouldn't be conflict.
Doors are swinging.
There wouldn't be conflict and drama if they just shut the door and sorry, we're not home.
No.
He does try to fight off the demon and ends up naked again.
Very quickly. Yeah,
say again,
for some reason, that towel
naked.
did not stay on long.
No.
Look, we've all fought for our lives in a towel. And...
No.
Just me? No.
Things you don't want to learn about children. Man, I wouldn't see it. That's another one of those mythical movie TV land lies that people like wrap a towel around them and like walk around the house and have like a half-hour long scene. I'm like, dude, no, it doesn't stay on long enough for me to walk like from the bathroom to like my bedroom. Like, those things just don't stay magically wrapped around. I don't know.
Well, then you'd think that it could be magically wrapped around here.
You think in his case, of all people,
He's not thinking, man. He's not thinking.
Missed opportunities. Right. Or really, taken opportunities. It's been a long time since he's had a date.
Oops, did I forget to tie that on? My bad.
We've all been fighting for our lives in a towel.
Excuse me while I do the 3-point superhero landing. Naked. No, that is not my fist touching the floor. Okay.
No capes.
Oh, we went there. Yes, we did.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
So anyways, as Harry stated earlier in the episode, he doesn't have his gun because that's downstairs in the lab.
Safely tucked it away so he wouldn't, take it to the police station. Yeah, so...
So it very quickly is like, hey, Susan, you know where we should go? My sub-basement.
Yeah, and I like how she's kind of like, she really goes into auto mode. She's really like trying to process and really having a hard time between, okay, I know about the supernatural, this should be, but holy shit, I've never like, her rational, brain that's used to normal quote unquote reality is still being like, this is messed up, I don't understand, I'm trying to fit this into something I know, but it doesn't fit anything I know, right? So Harry has to resort to the, okay, just shut up and follow orders, like I will give you directives, and then your sort of instinctual brain can just go, okay, I can do that, right? So but she, I don't know, yes and no, she's half and half. She does do that, she follows the orders, but she is also doing the journalist brain thing, right? Because that's the other thing he notices, that she's still, like, asking questions and looking for information. And he's like, yeah, okay, great, cool, but, death-defying situation here, can we...
Harry, we both have jobs here.
I'm sorry, are you saying as a woman my job is less important than your job? Way to start a first date, Harry. What do you mean? I'm sorry, you're doing man's work right now? Yeah, exactly.
No one's job is a little bit more important than the others.
Only except right now, mine is a little bit, so... Yeah, exactly.
So, Harry shoves her towards the sub-basement, says, please, please, please. And,
fend off.
Yeah, and again, like as you said, this is the first, like, battle action heavy one. Beforehand, all he really did, he took a baseball to the back of the head, fell down the stairs, and before that was Susan, he took a hanky out of a pocket. But this is, like, his first, like, magic casting combat fun.
I was going to say the baseball bat was really more passive. There was no defense, there was no counterattack, he just literally took a bat to the head. So yeah, that one definitely doesn't count. And then, most of his other good stuff got taken away before he went in to see Bianca. So, yeah, exactly. We had a very, very teeny tiny.
And we've seen him cast before, obviously, when he was summoning Toot and such. But this is really, like the first time, again, like go, like, grabbing magic, just full on, magic. Yeah.
There was a part of this that sort of reminded me of D&D, the way it was written.
Which is,
you can tell me wrong if I'm just looking into it too much. The part where my mind was racing along, calculating possibilities, numbers, my reserves of energy, cold and rational. Like, that just made me think of, like...
Roll the dice, count your numbers. Yeah, and Jim Butcher has said, and we've said on this podcast, he does have the character sheets, and he did draw from D&D quite a bit as well. So it's very much that, like... for anyone who plays D&D, they would know that there's certain rules to make sure it's fair, and when a turn happens, it's not like my turn, your turn, your turn. That's how they play it mechanically, but in reality, you're supposed to think that all of these actions in a round are happening simultaneous to each other, you know? So it's very much like, in movies when you watch it, it's like, it can seem like Captain America has like 5 minutes to do something, and then the bad guy has like 10 seconds or whatever like that, and then Scarlett Johansson. Black Widow.
Witch. You meant Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch. Yep.
But yes,
yep.
Black Widow.
They've got then they have 5 minutes to do something, and then the bad guy has 10 seconds, and then Iron Man has 5 minutes to do something. But it's like in D&D, it's like everyone has 6 seconds, and they all happen simultaneously at the exact same time. So in this one, I find Jim Butcher's very good about that, like, equalizing, I find, like sometimes it seems more like the bad guy has like the 5 minutes to do it, because another thing in D&D is that everyone has a certain speed depending on your race or your abilities or whatever. So it's like sometimes, the bad guy has the ability to like run up and punch him in the face 37 times and run away again. And here he's like, wait, I throw up my shield. Yeah. So it's very much, in that like do kind of way. So that was one thing about Battleground. It was like there was so much constant action that I was like really like... The first time I read through it, I was just like, fighting, jumping ahead, jumping, yeah. Where's the conversation? Okay, continue. Where's the plot? Okay, continue.
I know, maybe that's my lack of, martial arts skill coming into play, but I sometimes in a complicated written fight scene, I'm like, okay, punch, kick, okay, so they're fighting, and
yeah, same. I watch. When I read, it's like a movie in my head, but for those parts, I'm just like, fast forward.
Yeah, I just kind of make up my hoo-ha. Okay, go.
Waving arms and done.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm like, wait, he punched under, but he's got his arm around his. How did he? And I can't quite envision the mechanics of it. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, Harry did something cool, or the ninja guy did something ninja.
Gun, magic, punch.
Yeah, exactly.
So Harry instructs Susan to drink the escape potion, but it doesn't work because it's not the escape potion.
What? What do you mean? What?
But he only brewed one potion.
Oh. Yeah, because does he send her down there just to hide at first? Yeah, because he sort of. Because I was thinking at first, I was like, oh, he sends her down to get the potion, and then I'm like, oh no, wait, she's banging around looking for stuff, and then he's like, oh wait, I have a potion. So I can't remember if he just. That was his first instinct, was just to go down and hide.
I thought that he sent her down while he's holding her off with the staff, because he's like...
Yeah.
Kind of struggling.
Yeah, he doesn't give any direction to her. He's just like, you get down there, and then he's instantly in combat with this thing. So when it starts out, he's like, hey, can you get down here? And she's like, why are you naked? And then he's like, magic, 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 magic.
Oh, yeah, I do have to say, I love this. What is it? A bad guy. I love that kind of humor. It's like, I don't have time for big, long, it's a bad guy, okay? Let's just, when is it coming in? Homestead laws, can I get in? I hurried and grabbed her arm, dragging her back towards the door leading out of my lab. Get down there, I shouted, jerking the door open, revealing the folding ladder staircase. It's dark, Susan protested. Oh, God, she blinked down at my... Harry, why are you naked?
Yes.
Oh, doing some crap. So yeah, no, I guess that was it. He basically just, yeah. So out of lack of anywhere else to go, he's just like, I don't know, let's hide in the basement, sub-basement. So yeah, so he sends her down there, and she's like, it's dark, and he hears her sort of banging and rumbling around, and then he has the, escape potion. I can get her out of here, and then I can deal with this thing, and my, innocent date is safe. So yeah, so again, she's finds the sports bottle or whatever. So she's like, okay, like drink it and just think about being far away from here. She's like, yeah, okay, now what? And he's like, what do you mean now what? why are you still here?
She does find the 38 instead.
But she does find his nice big ass gun. So yeah, she comes marching back upstairs with that bad boy.
I do like the description how it like ends up in the like smack dab in the middle of the forehead with the last shot. Ching!
Yeah. Not that it does anything. But she had that
good shot.
One. Yeah, she had like that one. Yeah. So yeah, she comes up with the gun and she's like, "All right," and he's like, "Wait, no, crap!" And then and at first, but she tells him, she's just like, "This smells like crap." He's like, "Yeah, it's supposed to just drink it." Like good old potions. It's like Buckley's or whatever, It's
Please don't ask what's in it. We've already had that conversation.
Tastes awful, but it works. Only in this case where it doesn't seem to have. Yeah. So
at which point
she blows off all 6 shots. Oh yeah. At which point?
At which point she blows off all 6 shots. Comes marching back upstairs, and she clearly hasn't escaped, and the gun didn't work, and so Harry's like, okay, we're both hauling ass to the basement now. And
yeah, but it's not even just that it didn't work. It ricochets, because the demon's got his own like force field, thick skin, whatever his defense is, kind of a thing. So yeah, you get a couple of shots that go wild, a couple that literally like hit his torso and like bounce around the room. And Harry's like, "You're gonna fucking kill us with the ricochets and shit going on." Like she's just like badass, like, "Come here, you motherfucker." Yeah, and then nails him in the butt. Yeah, so he's like, okay, so they both bail into the basement, and so this thing meanwhile has finally busted through his weak ass threshold. And is like spewing acid at them, which is not cool. And Harry's like, "My furniture may not be much, but it's mine, man. Like that couch was really comfy. You asshole."
You know how hard it is to get a couch down here,
right?
Let alone one that fits him.
God, can you imagine? No kidding. I never even really thought about all that and all the time about Harry and stuff, but because he's got this like narrow concrete stairwell down to his house. Ugh. As someone who recently moved someone in the last week or two, horror. Basement suites, gotta love them.
We just managed to get them into that copper pentacle.
No, circle, sweetheart. Yeah,
I thought it was a pentacle.
No,
it's just a circle.
It's just a circle. Circle magic.
My bad.
Yeah, newbies.
3-foot circle.
Yes,
not enough space
for acrobatics and gymnastics, wrestling and gymnastics.
Potion kicks in.
But first, so I like this. So Harry has this circle for protection for potentially just such a scenario or summoning, but he really obviously hasn't had to use it up until now. And being the magic geek nerd, he's got like everything. And he's a bachelor, whatever. He's a slob. I don't know. His place is just kind of, it's all shoved in. It's his, what's the word I'm looking for?
Man
cave, junk drawer, storage, right. So point being is he's got this thing for a specific purpose. But there's like books and boxes and containers. And so he's like panicking. So he doesn't even bother to shut the trapdoor because he figures this thing can just rip it open anyways. At least now I can, it'll just obviously come down the open door. So at least I know where it's coming from rather than having it, mysteriously rip through the door onto the floor and drop on my head. So they've got like literally nothing between him and this demon, and he's like scrambling, and she's still kind of out. And I love how Bob's like, "Hey, this guy, ooh, babe," and he's like, "Shut up, Bob." And I love how Susan in all of this, I'm like, she doesn't pick up really that like she kind of does a what, and he's like, yeah, don't worry about it, but she's so busy with, I don't know, the demon or the other stuff that's now taking over that I'm like, you don't question that talking skull that's like just like. Because we're talking like Siri and Google Assist kind of thing here. Like there was no Echo or Amazon in Harry's lab. It's like, why is this thing just only talking?
I don't know if she really notices it's a skull, though. It's really just like a voice from somewhere. And yeah, there's a lot going on.
But yeah, all she gets is a what is that and ignore him. And she does. And it's like, I mean, I don't know, maybe you have to blame this on the potion at this
Because
point.
the potion is there, yeah.
Because I was like, that really is not very, journalistic inquisitive of her at all. She's just like, what's that? Nothing. Okay. I'm like, but yeah, I suppose at this point, yeah, it emphasizes how she's other thoughts are starting to take hold and become more important.
Yeah, it does mention that the lack of inhibitions because of that's probably why she took the gun in the first place.
Yeah, once he realizes that.
What's a talking skull now? Anyways, she's seen the lizard. She shot at it and
Nothing. It spewed acid.
It's a complimentary skull.
Other priorities.
It liked the way she looked.
That's true. Yeah.
Harry activates that circle, and, right at the last second, you've got Bob running commentary in the background, like, he's almost here, he's about to spit.
Hey, Harry.
Acid's dripping from the mouth. He's aiming at you. It's like, yeah, Bob. Yeah. No, I know.
Got it. Thanks. Yeah.
So,
did you know there's like a seriously badass toad demon coming down for you? Yes, I had noticed that.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks.
So yeah, right at the last second, him and Susan get this circle cleared, shoves her inside, activates the circle, and
yeah, and then he's
acid.
like, yeah, more useful would be why didn't your dumbass potion work that you assured me was like so fantastic? Yeah, that's what he's like. Well, I was trying to tell you.
She did down a potion.
She did.
One of the potions that I helped you make.
And boy, it is working fantastic, just like I promised.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so Harry wants to date you, right? She's like, how long do we have to hang out here? And he's like, just like 9-10 hours until like the sun comes up and breaks the spell. So yeah, nothing like, standing in a 3-foot circle for like 10 hours. And then it gets more interesting. Because Susan doesn't want to stand in the circle.
Chapter 14. In an attempt to protect Susan, Harry hands off an escape potion, only it ends up being a love potion instead. Desperately, they both down the escape potion, forcing the summoner to show his cards, causing Harry to doubt his legitimate finesse and skill. Harry makes a connection between the unknown sorcerer and the power of the storms, but Morgan, his warden, has been watching and has come to the conclusion that Harry himself is the sorcerer in question. Following that assumption, Morgan calls for his execution, adding yet more pressure to Harry's never-ending list.
Love potion. 10 hours. Chapter 14.
Really should have just been called a lust potion instead of love
potion. Well, he did end up using like the tequila. So he was right, because Bob was like champagne. He's like, I don't have any champagne. He's like, oh, figures, use tequila. And he's like, or no, was Bob that way first? Bob was like, use the tequila. And he's like, shouldn't it be champagne? He's like, what's the difference? He's like, I'm thinking it'll get sleazier results. And yes, it looks like you probably, because she's less about the loving you and much more about the loving you.
Plus, the $50 instead of diamonds.
And right.
All these subtle changes, they helped out a bit.
$50 and a shot of tequila. Come on, baby. Yeah. She's
she's quite heavily affected by this love potion.
Yeah, and becomes completely obsessed with that, is not interested in anything else Harry has to do. Life or death is like, whatevs. Haven't you always wanted to die making love? He's like, no, not really. Especially now we can avoid that part.
I had a good laugh at reading the portion when she's talking about, you're saying no, but this is saying yes. And his response of, that thing's always saying something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah,
I really appreciated that moment.
Don't listen to that. So she's, your mouth says no, but this says yes. And he's like, Bob, a little help here? And Bob's like, I'm stuck in this skull. What do you want me to do? And he's like, okay, I'll let you out for like 5 seconds. Patch me the potion. And Bob's like,
No.
What? The fuck do you mean? No.
24 hours or nothing, boss.
Yeah, and Harry's like, what the? No. Like, you're an immature, irresponsible little perv. No. And he's like, oh, well, sucks to be you. Man, that demon's getting close, isn't it?
Knows when he's got the upper hand, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Plays
Opportunistic.
Completely. Yeah. And Harry being...
Speaking of opportunistic, Susan. I'm not wearing any underwear, Dresden. Harry.
Yeah, right. Like, well, how did you plan on this date going anyways, Susan? You little minx, all right.
I'm gonna say, Harry beat her to it, really.
But, yeah, well, that's true. I will take your no underwear and up you. I also have no clue. Yeah, and then she tries something approximating a pro wrestling takedown, and he's like, fuck. Because if they cross the boundary in any way physically, then they break it. So it's keeping the spiritual demon and his spiritual formed acid between, out of the way at the moment. But yeah, if they let a little toe or a pinky or something else, then yeah, it's going to break their circle down and the demon's going to blast them before Harry can put it back up again. So yeah, this is
not a whole lot of room.
Not a whole lot of room for gymnastics and acrobatics and whatever he calls it there. And yeah, so and Susan's just completely oblivious and completely that's one track mind right there. So yeah, so he's like, Bob, you slimy jerk. He's like, Bob's like, yeah, you don't really have a lot of wiggle room to say no here, and I'm just going to insist that. So yeah, so he manipulates Harry into the 24-hour bath, and he's like, you better not miss. He's like, well, you better catch it. I love their snarky little back and forth banter thing or whatever, right? It's like, yeah.
Never mind the demon toad in the corner, guys.
Yeah, well, Bob's really like, I don't know, it's not coming after me. I don't know if it could really, well, I mean, I guess it could damage his skull, which would be a problem for him, but I don't know that it can damage Bob.
Yeah, it hasn't taken an interest in him yet.
But yeah, point being is it doesn't give a shit about Bob that way. So yeah, so no matter what, yeah, Bob is just like, and this again where I guess it emphasizes that demarcation, that line between like Bob and Harry is Bob's not mortal. Bob does not have a quote unquote soul. Bob does not have empathy and morality. He's like, those are humans things. Like he's like, oh, I like you. Like sure, you're fun to like poke fun at, but basically when it gets down to it, Bob probably doesn't give a crap one way or the other whether this thing eats Harry, right? Like he's just like, I don't care, death,
just
murder,
another master.
Yeah, he's exactly right. Like it makes no difference to Bob. He might be as good as any. That one landlord you've had that's like, well, that's pretty cool. But point being is, if I decide I need to move, I'm going to move, and it doesn't really matter who. But yeah, so it, not only Susan, but Bob also has him by the short hairs and knows it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So he does eventually agree to it and throws in that potion, and then they manage to escape outside using it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Harry's like, I'll just do the thinking for both of us. I'm just going to hang on real tight. You just drink, I'll think us away. So, yeah. So it does at least zap him out, but they don't get too terribly far because they've shared it. Which makes you wonder kind of a thing, like, is it like an exponential kind of thing? Like, did they literally only go half as far? Or on his own, could he have gone, like, way more than just...
Found himself in Australia.
Right? Like, exactly. I mean, maybe not quite that far, but exactly. Could he have, like, just how far would this one have? But that's kind of a pedantic. That's more of a... So, yeah, zaps them a couple blocks over or something like that. He can still, like, see his apartment, but the demon's not real hip to where they went. He just knows they sort of disappeared. And they can still hear him, like, banging around and wrecking shit, which is great.
Yeah, and being, dispersed like that doesn't feel good to begin with. And, on top of a love potion, Susan feels a little nauseated from all of that.
Yeah, big time. She's like, I'm sick. And that's actually another kind of cool little descriptor there, the way he's like, it felt like I like flew apart into like, separate little molecules, atoms.
Made me think
and
of
then
Star Trek.
Slammed back together. Yes. The
transporter.
The transporter beam. It just, yeah. demolecularizes you and then remolecularizes you. But yeah, I love that. He's like, he flitted apart, and there was like patterns. He's like, there's like my pattern went through like the ceiling pattern to like the outdoorsy, and then boom, he's like, he just slammed back together like a freight train, and that was lots of fun. And yeah, ouch. Susan's like, yeah, mixed potions, not good. So guess he wants to head over to Reading Road because it always floods when there's this much rain. So there will be flowing water, and flowing water disrupts magic. Since our toad demon is just here in a construct of a body and is being held together by magic to exist in our reality, that running water is going to cut his lifeline and zap him. So it's not going to kill him. He'll still exist, but he's just got to snap back to his spirit realm and will not physically be here to bother Harry and Susan anymore. So he's like, let's go find us some water.
When a mysterious figure makes his move, tips his hand at Harry, showing a shadowy version of himself that's been spying on him. Thought you'd be dead by now.
You what? Say what? Say what? Good job, my Willows. Who said that? New girlfriend, who dis?
You guys would die in the first episode.
I told you, right? I'd be like, just ignore it. It's
There's
just
a little comic relief, at least a little bit.
They're not talking to me. It's fine.
Yeah. Just be like, whatever. It's probably just some rando. Just look the other way. Let's go.
It's like that SNL sketch of the Saw movie and Pete Davidson. And it's like,
I haven't seen the sketch.
Okay, well, basically he's like, aren't you questioning why the pizza man showed up and you didn't deliver a pizza? And he's like, no. Aren't you wondering about how I know what you're doing right now? No. Don't you want to know how I know what you're wearing? Nah, it's cool. I wear the same thing every day. That's exactly right. Or like in a Due South, when the robbers try and call into the bank and Paul Gross, whatever his character's name is.
Benson Fraser?
Yeah, and he just keeps hanging up the phone on Ray. He's like, no, don't let them make demands. Just keep hanging up on them. It's like, bad guy can't be a bad guy if you don't let him speak.
Right?
No villain speech for you.
No. Yeah. I didn't think you'd last this long. So yeah, it kind of freaks Harry out, and he's like, what? So he does he sort of looks and can't see anything, so he does kind of a mystical look. And there's a cold patch. Not a physical cold patch, but like a mystical cold patch. So yeah, there's something a-working there. So yeah, he's like, who's there? He's like, you expect me to give you a name? I'm like, okay, well, no, but he's like, suffice it to say, I'm the one that kills you. And he's like, underachiever.
Yeah, that's such a great line.
He's like, and I love how this other guy just like he gets so he's totally putting on like his villain 101, like, I'm in the shadows, I have killed you. And Harry's like, and he's like, what? This is not how you're supposed to, like, be scared. Like, ooh, I'm gonna get you. And Harry's like,
I'm not got yet.
Yeah, I'm not got yet. And he's like, I stop that. He's like, you're going off the script in my head, and I don't like it. I am not prepared to deal.
I practiced a speech in the mirror 37 times.
Right? Like, you don't know how long I've been gearing up to have this out with you, and you're just not.
Which really is the books go on. You find a lot of villains just come to have this, like, villain speech with Harry, and he fucks it up every time, and they're like, fucking... I've been practicing this speech against you for years. Right. You killed my mother and my father and my brother, and now you're fucking... Shut up.
Yeah, Harry denies everyone their, like, Inigo Montoya speech. He's like, no.
Yeah, well, his little test of figuring out what the guy's about to shows as an experience, because there was another... Where'd you learn that? I went to school.
Yeah. He's like, whoa, how'd you do that? Kind of gives him, what does he say, the wizard bitch slap? He's like, whoa, wait. Yeah. He's like, I went to school, dumbass. Like, yeah. So, yeah, I guess this guy is a nut. So, yeah, again, he's got some power he's slinging around. but he's new to it and doesn't really know how to use what he's got, and is inexperienced. He does not know how much he doesn't know he can do, kind of a thing. It's like my brother-in-law on his iPhone. It's like he's got it all there, but he only knows how to use 2 apps, and one of them not very well. Yeah, so this is basically the Shadow Man, as Harry refers to him, right? He's like, ooh, I got this super cool thing, but I have not figured out all the toys and buttons on it yet. And Harry's like, schmuck. Harry's like, find my phone. And the guy's like, wait, what? I don't know. How do you turn that off?
Yeah. And then finally gets sick of his shit and then sends him packing. Boom. Bye.
Yeah, the guy's like, my demon's gonna come kill you. And Harry's like, you call that thing? Are you fucking nuts? And the guy's like, whatever, I got it under control. And he's like, dude, no. Like, no. This is not a puppy on a leash. This is like a velociraptor on a twine. Like, so a guy calls out to get the demon back on track to let him know that where they went. But unfortunately, storm, thunder, noise, Harry cannot hear the name. Otherwise, he could have, yoinked that thing out from under him.
But he does decide that lightning and storm is useful. Finally gets desperate enough, and or stupid enough, to use it.
Right, yeah, that thing comes charging out and basically just, with the fingers of one hand, flips Susan's car out of the way, kind of a thing. So, yeah, Harry doesn't really want to tangle with the... I mean, the acid he spit is bad enough, but I mean, in hand-to-hand combat, this thing is literally going to tear him limb from limb, too. He's got, no chance against this thing. Susan can't go anywhere. She's sick. She's tired. She's puking. She does not have it in her to get up and move the couple blocks they need to get to this running water. Harry's naked and getting tired because he wasn't expecting that. He just woke up from a long concussed nap, and all of a sudden, within half an hour or less is battling and running around and completely unprepared. Had no idea this was coming down the pipes, right? So yeah, he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't have tools. I didn't prep. And is about ready to get free. Yeah, he's debating, right? He does the panic fight or flight. He's like, well, we don't both have to die. Susan can't run away, but I can still run away, and at least one of us gets to live. And then he's like, wow, dude, shitty Harry. Which at least Harry does. I mean, and again, that makes him real too. Harry has a lot of those moments where he's like, I don't want to die. I can run away. I can get out of this. But ultimately, these fucking other people, I fucking can't let them stand here and die and not know how to defend themselves. So, yeah, so you get that. He's like, I want to. I really, really want to. But luckily for you, someone down the line instilled a really good moral compass in Harry.
At some point, he's going to have to live with himself, so.
Yeah, exactly. I could live, but exactly, yeah. He's like, I can't just, so he gets ready to make a stand, and then as it's all booming and crashing and crescendoing, he's like, oh shit, wait, that's energy, that's power. So but it's very raw, unfiltered, as he has been discussing since he woke up, this storm that's raging around outside.
Right, so there's power with the storm, but very uncontained power.
Yeah, and he's got nothing to insulate the harness. Normally, right, you, I don't know if it's come up a lot yet, but Harry talks about how he uses words and things. It's not so much that the words are important to magic, it's just that it gives you a conduit, it gives you an insulation around the magic that kind of protects your brain. It gives your brain, right, what magic word,
tangible,
tangible, whatever, right, that exactly, so that the raw power isn't just searing through, and that sort of ends up with what he's got here, is that, yeah, I can harness the storm, but there's nothing between. Yeah, it's ungrounded. He's like, well, not a good choice, but it's the choice I've got. So yeah, he slings some power through his staff, through him, the in one arm, out the other, the power, the side that takes in power and the side that releases power, which is something he talks about further in later books and stuff too, manages to blow up the demon.
Boom!
Boom.
Pieces of demon everywhere.
Found like rain.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Objectively gross.
Yes.
Objectively.
And he's naked, getting covered in slime.
Until it starts to morph back into the ectoplasm that just comes from without the demon spirit holding it together. Just, oozing slime. Which is, again, another kind of, a little bit like Buffy with her dusting the vamps, you know. It was like, how do we not have bodies piling up all over all the time? And again, if there was like toad demons lying around dead everywhere, humanity would be a little bit more like, there's something going on. So it gives you that element of disposing of things. And so sometimes it's great because done and dusted. Sometimes it's a problem because you can't go, there was a thing here trying to kill me because the thing's no longer there.
Yes.
So it gives you, again, that pros and cons element to your cleanup. Your bad guy cleanup.
So then, Harry, it's clear that it's kind of was a lot because, his toenails have turned black and are smoking. His hair is sticking on end. Like,
Little donkey.
he's dried off.
Yes, he's staticky and dry, and yes, that was actually again kind of another cute little descriptor.
So yeah, and then just exhausted as all hell collapses next to Susan.
Lo and behold, who shows up? Morgan.
What-um-ba.
Yeah.
Decides that Dresden had summoned the demon and lost control. We realize that the council is going to be convening in 2 days because he's decided to rat on him. And
The doom of Damocles must be decided. So, So, Susan, what are you doing next Saturday?
I love that. Finally, all kind of does there's like, so she's just, I love how like Susan doesn't even have like a snappy comeback or anything. She literally just like eyes him and like lays back down. Like, nope. Nope.
Wasn't good enough for his date? You don't want a second? It had everything.
Come on. There was drama and excitement. You got to see magical stuff happen. Like, it was the best.
So yeah, Morgan, as per usual, puts a damper on things. And that's...
He freaks him out, because Harry's like, shit, I only got 2 days. If I don't come up with a culprit, I'm going down for this.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's like... like Morgan's word carries weight with the council, so just the accusations might be enough to do it. And his proof of, him summoning up the fairies and now, summoning, I didn't see anybody else summon it, which, no offense, Morgan, that's kind of a weak-ass excuse. I mean, that's like my parents at the dinner table, like, quit picking on your brother. Well, he did it to me well, I didn't see him do it. Like, yeah, well, just because you didn't see him didn't mean he didn't do it. I'm sorry, somebody's calling demons and, walking around killing people. He's not going to stand there and be like, yeah, watch me, there's the next one, watch me kill this guy, y'all got that? Okay, I'm going to disappear now. Yes, Morgan is just Morgan in his boob anyways, but he's just like, I don't see anybody else here, I just see you. And then Harry's like, oh my god, are you fucking for real? But that's what he's got to deal with, and
on top of it all is that Harry's a relatively, he's a baby as far as the White Council's concerned, so it's like, in 2 days, that's that. You're not going to hide from them. You're not going to plead from them. They are the bosses right now, and that's that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Harry doesn't stand a lot of chance in just going head to head with them to either physically defend himself or run and hide. Exactly.
It's legitimate. You find a culprit, or that's that. 2 days.
2 days.
Done and done.
They're going to be here. They're going to get you. They're not going to listen to a lot of.
And at this point in the story, I think we're only 3 days in, full.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, depending on your actual hours, maybe not even 2.5 days or whatever. But yeah, it was Thursday afternoon. He got the call from Murphy and Monica, and now it's Saturday night, date night. So, yeah. And now he's got, by Monday morning, he's got to have this wrapped up. So, Harry's had less than a week to work on this case, be involved in this case, and solve this case.
Wow.
He's got a business week. He's got 5 days. So now he's great, just one more thing, that...
Which makes it a little funny, too, that, Marcone had to step in on day 2 and be like, hey, what the fuck, pay attention to me, bitch. And I was like, you didn't really wait long at all. You got impatient, after 1 day, asshole.
Because Carrie started investigating right away. That was it. He's like, if Harry had maybe taken a couple days to get on the case, but he's like, don't look into this case. And Harry's like, all right, well, I love staying chat, but I gotta go look into this case. So Marcone's like, yep, Yep. And Marcone don't take shit. Marcone don't wait for
So,
nothing.
yeah.
He's
So
like,
this is really, yeah. Now we're kind of dive bombing into this.
now we're kind of, yeah. So then Morgan leaves and the cops show up. And this is another kind of like great line. He's like perfectly natural, I thought. Oh yeah, he's like, the cops show up and they're like, set the stick down and put your hands up. Don't make any sudden move. Perfectly natural, I thought, embracing a sort of exhausted stoicism for the officer to arrest a naked man and a woman dressed in an evening gown sitting on a sidewalk in the pouring rain like a couple of drunks fresh off a bender. Like, what? What are you looking at? Like, this is out of the ordinary? Large naked man, big stick.
Well, he is naked.
So, a couple of big, I don't know.
It could be a big stick.
Just keep going there. I don't know. But yeah, but Susan's like, this is the worst night of my life.
But it's going to make for a fantastic story.
Yeah. And he's like,
That
That's
concludes chapter 14.
Yeah.
This concludes our episode 8, Double Date. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnally's.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling, and thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, guys.